fascinating business conversation today. Charlie, my guest, 22 years old, has built a £2 million business from scratch in just 4 short years. He's selling pizzas, £2 million worth of pizzas. He generates his own leads and he's built a team of 30. How's he done it? Let's find out in the conversation today. Hello campers, welcome back to Business Broadcast, the podcast designed to help create business. More of you listening than ever before. In fact, we're on for a record month. We're in the charts and everything's going absolutely flipping fantastic. And I'll tell you why it's flipping fantastic, because I'm joined by my co-host, who's fast becoming a friend. Another 300 episodes and I reckon
we'll be pally, won't we, after 300, I reckon.
JB is back here on the podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here, especially excited for this conversation based on the pre-chat chat that you just chatted about.
Yeah, but before we come on to that,
okay.
When I brought you onto the podcast, there was some negativity. Why is he doing this? Why is it? And those people...
What's a Sinclair thinking?
Those people are just...
really ramping up.
They're loving you. One of them actually messaged me after I told this, why is he on the podcast? He adds no value. This morning on the way in, wants to become a client of yours and get you to do his podcast. It took 10 episodes to turn a hater into someone that's actually going to give you pound, shilling and pence. So well done to you, JB.
Oh, I'll always turn him in the end.
Turn him in the end.
That used to be my reputation when I was a holiday rep as well.
Did you? Then you got married. And in this business,
Sorry, before we get started on that,
Yeah.
if you're listening, I apologise for the next couple of minutes. Can we just talk about the new... I mean, you've always been an attractive man. You're slendering, slimming down. You've now got specs.
I know.
For those on YouTube, if you're watching, you're going, why do I really fancy James Sinclair today? It's the glasses.
Yeah.
It's the glasses.
I do look like I'm missing a Bunsen burner. That's the style I've gone for.
It works though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Comment on YouTube. Just give it like a sexy emoji. Do we just want one emoji based on what you think about Jimbo's glasses? We'll accept the aubergine.
Yeah.
We'll accept the sweaty face thing.
Yeah.
Or like the spicy chili emoji.
Well, the reason I'm wearing them is because I kept getting headaches. And so I went to doctors and said, I'll keep getting headaches.
Sounds like a Tommy Cooper joke.
No.
I don't, doctor.
I really don't go to doctors. You know, I'm a typical man. I don't really need to go. Women are much easier, I think, going to doctors. And
Because they're not stupid like us, are
yeah,
they?
that is a good way of explaining it. But I said, look, I keep getting, I've had a headache for like 12 days. They keep coming and going, blah, blah, blah. She went, have you been to an optician's? I went, no, don't be stupid. I don't need glasses. I'm amazing.
I put your glasses on earlier, and it's like wearing 2 binoculars.
Oh,
I was like,
it's
how
not
on
that
earth?
bad.
How on earth
They're
have
only
you
from
driven a car?
long distance. But anyway, so I went to the opticians at a well-known chain. I can't mention the name of the chain because they're not sponsoring the podcast so.
Yet. Did you go to that chain, did you?
Yeah, I went to a
The green
well-known
one,
chain.
the
That
big green
one.
one, yeah.
I went there and within 20 minutes she went, oh yeah, you need glasses.
They are right. They've not tried to hard upsell you there. They were absolutely right. They've done you a public service by doing that.
My things are better now. I can see far away. I mean, there was a little clue because I went to Liverpool Street with Chance, and in the middle of Liverpool Street, there's a big thing with all the platforms on that says platform 13 to Southend Victoria or to London Liverpool Street. And me and him were standing next to each other at one end of Liverpool Street. And I said, oh, what platform we needed to get on just to get back home because we've been in London doing something. And this was probably about 5 months ago. And I couldn't read the sign. I needed to take like 20 steps forward and he could read it from where we originally were. And so that was the first
clue.
hint. That was the first hint in this Sherlock Holmes saga. But I thought I'll just ignore that until...
Standard.
Yeah, and that's...
Till disaster strikes. 12-day headache.
That's that. But I'm loving doing the podcast with you, JB, and people are liking it, and we're really helping people, and hopefully we can help our guest today, Charlie Meir. This story, so the company is called, and this is why we have these pre-chat chats, and it's reminded me to have pre-chat chats with...
every episode.
With our guests before they come on, because the name of this company is called pizzapost.co.uk, thepizzapost.co.uk. I literally thought it was sending pizzas in the post.
I thought that as well.
Frozen or
like the ingredients. I thought it was going to be like a fancy gusto kind of vibe.
Exactly that. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, he's doing all right, 150 grand a month.
It's a lot
selling all this stuff in the bar. And I thought, wow, he must have come up with something really good. And then I was completely wrong. And I think you assumed similarly to me, did you? He's got 8 pizza vans. His dad is building him 2 more, so he'll have 10, and then 2 burger vans. And he's thinking about having a coffee van. He's got 30 staff. Last week he done £43,000 worth of revenue. These are just from my pre-chat chat.
He's also saying that one of his challenges, sorry to skip to that already, but seasonality, it's
Yeah.
February while we're recording.
Yeah.
He's done 43 grand in a week.
Yeah.
That's not too shabby, is it?
It is what it, because most people, so if you imagine he's got a pizza van, he's going to a wedding, he's going to a corporate gig, and all the guests there having pizza. I actually had that at my wedding, which I invited JB to, and he didn't turn up. So we done those pizza things, and then he'd blame me. He accused me of not inviting him.
I did, yeah.
But he just hadn't read his emails.
I hadn't.
But he's still part of one of the best entrepreneurship podcasts in the world, in my opinion. And I forgive much more than he does.
Yeah, sure.
And so he turns up to these things.
They are brilliant as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
These
people
pizza vans.
love them.
Yeah.
People absolutely love them. They loved them at our wedding. It's really popular. And obviously, I'm a man that sells lots of pizzas in all of our farm parks, cafes and establishments, and the margins are very good. And what's good about this, though, is you know what revenue you're going to get. You know, there's no guesswork like owning a restaurant. You know you're going to go to a wedding, you're going to get £1,000, £1,500 or whatever it is. You're going to go to a corporate gig. You know what you're going to get as long as you get the bookings.
Also, you can, in terms of there's no wastage, is there? Because I presume he's doing it like a per head basis. So you might have like 10% of overage just in case you burn a few or whatever. But you've got the ingredients. You're not going to be left holding expensive stock. You could always tell when an idea is really good on this podcast because you furrow your brow and you get like semi-annoyed that you haven't got one of these things.
Well, that's
I
very
can see your
similar.
cogs ticking.
Now, next door to this building that we're recording this in, we're in a roller skating rink which we own, and then on the other side of that building is a big ice cream factory. And then on the back of that building are 2 ice cream vans, an ice cream scooping freezer trailery thing. 3 of them, in fact, actually. We've got ice cream trucks, and I find it very hard to get corporate gigs for that. We haven't put the effort in and to organise it, but if we was doing £150,000 a month, that becomes a serious business.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it, just, you know, we will ask Charlie this, I think it is quite hard to sell. Because I think it is key man driven. It's an entrepreneur running this. Could you corporately run this? I think very difficult because your customers are only buying from you once. They're only getting married, hopefully once. They're only having a corporate gig once a year. There's not, can you come back next week?
Franchisable though?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that would be good. Yes, that's a very good point. I didn't think of that. That's annoyed me. Because this does feel like an owner-managed type business. But the problem with franchisees, they just eventually will just go,
They'll
I
do
just
it
buy
themselves.
my own pizza van and do you over.
You have to do something central, don't you? Like you'd have to generate the leads for them, I reckon, in this
do
instance.
the bookings. Yeah, that would be... So they can generate their own bookings, but also take central.
Yeah, but it goes
through,
the central hub that controls it all.
Yeah.
This is a great little business, though, isn't it?
I mean, just and let's be absolutely...
In the summer, we could do a business broadcast festival. And Charlie could come with his pizzas.
Absolutely. But what's more impressive about this, I think we just scooted over this, is their age.
Yeah.
And they started this in coronavirus.
Yeah.
So 18, 19, so he's 21
like
now.
21, 22, yeah.
21, presiding over a £1.8 million business with his brother.
Making pizzas, which everybody likes, and you get to make everyone happy. What a lovely job that is.
And I think when he comes on in just a moment, you can tell this is someone that's a BYT. What's a BYT?
A bright young thing.
He knows, doesn't he? He absolutely knows. He is a bright young thing. You can tell he's...
Yeah.
You know, if I look at the 8 traits of great entrepreneurs, one of those traits is commercial awareness. You can just tell.
Yeah.
This bright young thing has it.
Well, there's a reason why he's got so much commercial awareness around this, which we might touch on as well.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that till he's on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wasn't this a cliffhanger?
Yeah, cliffhanger.
Chuds loves a cliffhanger for YouTube retention.
Yeah.
Do you like that one, Chuds? He's not even listening. Don't even care. Fine.
I'm amazed. Let's go through the notes. I'll ask you the notes because in case we've missed anything on this. How long has he been trading, JB?
0 to 3 years. That is very impressive, isn't it?
Really impressive. How many team members did we touch on that?
He's got 25.
But on the pre-chat chat, he said 30.
The pre-chat, yeah, he's got 30 odd, 10 in-house full-timers, and then the others are contractors and chefs who come out for the gigs, basically. Estimated monthly revenue, you skipped over that one, 150 grand a month.
Fine.
In under 3 years. Good on Charlie.
What's his challenges? Let's go.
Challenge number 1, scaling to 5 million in revenue whilst maintaining healthy profits. We've talked about that. We've talked about this a lot. We've had a few sort of food ones, haven't we?
Yeah.
Over previously. Now, this shows actually the difference because you've talked about profitable models a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's your thing for 2024, isn't it? like being sexy with your glasses and talk about models. That's the James Sinclair thing for 2024, isn't it?
I also like that when you've got
just
headphones
moving it
on,
around.
they stay
That's
there.
fantastic, isn't it? Which is useful.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see a damn thing now, but it just looks cool. But when we talked to, do you remember the fit food lady?
Not the right model.
The model was all over the place. So you go, food services or food industry, difficult to make money out of. This guy's not having a challenge of making money out of it.
There's massive money in pizzas. The margins are amazing. If it costs you £2 to make a pizza and you can sell it probably
For
what
a
he's
tenner.
doing, well, I reckon he's 15 quids.
Yeah,
that's good. Whereas she was, going back to that example, she was selling a bloody steak
ramen bowl for
like
at a loss,
£7.50. You know, like that,
costing her 12 quid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's challenge number 1. Challenge 2: making the business less seasonal by getting more corporate clients.
I think this is weddings. He's getting a lot of the wedding and party market.
Yeah. Because even in the winter, to be fair, like these things are brilliant, but they just work better outdoor events, don't they? Where you can go up, everyone's outdoors in the evening. You go up to the pizza van. I mean, it's lovely.
Yeah, I've already got an idea how I would solve that, but we'll save that for when he's on.
Nice. Challenge 3: creating awareness for our product. Most people have never heard of it being a thing. I think it's becoming more popular now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and £1.8 million worth of revenue last year knew it was a thing. So I don't know if that really is a.
He might have also found it more difficult because he's called his thing the pizza post. Everyone is expecting pizza to turn up in the post, but it's actually a pizza van.
Well, certainly because we're thick, we thought that. Maybe.
Yeah.
But 1.8 million of people got it. And I think you need to be reminded of that if that's the revenues he's doing.
Yeah, 100%. Where does he want to be in a year? All over the Midlands. He's currently all over London. I wonder why the Midlands as well as London. That'd be interesting to find out. What does a business look like when it's finished? And he said, I can't ever see it being finished. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this.
Don't like that, do we? I like the idea of creating a self-supporting business empire that continue within itself and grow. Sort of spun it around there, isn't he? Do you make the profits you want to make? If so, what is it? No, we don't make the profit we want. We did last year, made 22% profit, but this year we're focused on scaling, and that has crashed the profit as well as increasing some of the costs and the overheads. And
that always happens.
You've said this on a lot of episodes recently, that you're always going to get that. Is that a thing that you just need to be aware that that's going to be, there's like an 18, 24, 36 month period where it's squeezed?
Well, I think it's a revenue thing.
Right.
Think about it in revenue terms, because
and they're like break points.
I was talking about this. I had the Bank of England. They come and see me every year. They were in today, coming into Rossi, and they just asked my opinion on things. And they
don't know if you caught that that name he just dropped in. That's the Bank of England. It's the people who run the English bank, for anyone who's watching. Carry on.
So they come in and they have a chat with me, ask my opinion on the economy, and then they put that to the 12 people that make base rate decisions.
So you are part of the reason for such great interest rates at the moment.
No, interest rates going up high were needed, weren't they, to get inflation under control? And inflation is under control.
It's that narrative that you told them that they ran with.
No, I didn't want interest rates to go up because my loans went up by £500,000 a year. So,
ouch.
But the cost of everything has come down.
Who do they, on this like panel of legends, let's call it the panel of legends, do they have like some SMEs, some bigger companies? They have like sort of a...
No, it's a committee, 12 people that work for the Bank of England.
Yeah, but
they get to make a vote. Oh, but
who do they go to? Yeah.
There's like 500 people in the UK. I think it's 500. It might be 2,000, but somewhere between 500 and 2,000. And then there's about
of varying sizes of businesses.
Yes, and there's about 32 people that work for the Bank of England that go out and interview those people and then feed that data back into the 12 people that make decisions on monetary policy.
I must have missed that email as well. Not been invited.
There's a big, Centre Parks, Bourne Leisure, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, all big companies will be on there as well. I know they are. And then there'll be manufacturing companies, restaurants, independents, big chains, and they just sit there and interview you for 2 hours.
What did they ask you? What sort of questions?
What's it like recruiting people? How has the cost of utilities affected you? What do you feel is the outlook for the future? Where do you see your business going in the next year? Are you going to contract? Are you going to invest?
Ah.
Yeah, very broad. But I've been doing it 12 years now.
Interesting.
What was the point, though, to that?
I don't know, but it's just quite. You said the Bank of England came to see me today.
It was linked to what we was talking about.
Oh, about the squashing off profitability as you scale.
Oh yeah, I mean, so basically, when you look at these different revenue drivers, it's a little bit like. I'd say that if you think about someone's personal salary, this is something I have learned from the Bank of England. Actually, I always remember when I saw one of these people from the Bank of England, which is not actually a bank, just to confuse people if anyone doesn't know that. Anyway, the Bank of England said to me once, they said people that earn £50,000 worth of income have more disposable income than someone on £100,000. And you're like, what? Well, as a rule, they do, because once you get into 100,000, you have access to bigger debt. So you take on a bigger mortgage. You might start considering private school, and you might, and so you stretch your budget to go into that next realm. But really, if you had £500,000 worth of income, which very few people do, then you can afford all those things comfortably and you can start investing. But the people on £50,000 a year don't consider private school. Yeah. They don't consider having 2 Range Rovers on lease finance and a much bigger mortgage. And so actually, they have more disposable income in many cases. This is now let's take it back to Charlie's business. You've got one pizza van and you're the owner operator, and you go out and you do £1,500 worth of sales. You go, right, I've got £200 worth of ingredients. I've made 1,300 quid. Everything's lovely. I'm now going to employ someone and do 2 pizza vans. I'm now working harder to do the marketing to fill the 2 pizza vans. I've got to look after, I'm now a middle manager and managing mine. I'm doing more. And then he gets up to 10 pizza vans. He might now need to go up to 30 pizza vans before he's economising his middle management, because he said he's got 10 people full-time in the office. Those 10 people could probably look after 20 pizza vans as much as 10 pizza vans.
So each van is sort of like aggregating the cost of one person in the office. You could double or triple the amount of vans and still not increase massively the overhead of servicing that demand.
1 yard, you think, I need a bigger yard now because I need to employ a mechanic. We've got 10 vans, but the mechanic probably could look after 20 vans. Just for example. And that's what happens in all businesses. It's the layers of middle management and overhead that squeeze the business in that great hope that we're going to get to that next level of size.
And do you think it would be for someone like him? Do you think it is 10 to 30?
I don't know. I don't know this business enough. I would think this business is difficult, in my experience, to get it to 5 million of revenue.
Right.
Because it does feel, though this is impressive what he's done, in my opinion, this is a bit more unicorn. This is very, very unusual for a business like this to scale as much as it has.
Well, maybe we'll find out exactly why in a minute. Final challenge before we do that and bring Charlie on, though. Challenge 3, creating awareness for our product. Most people have never heard. Oh, sorry, no, we've already done that one of it being a thing. And we said maybe it's the name, which must be why he's also spending so much money on SEO. Because if your name's the pizza post, but you're actually a pizza van, there must be a hell of a lot of SEOing going on behind the scenes. Do you bet the profit you want to? What do you do day to day in the business? That was another question we'd like to ask. Finances and marketing. And then there's a bunch of questions that he would like to ask you. So now we've chatted and rabbited on for best part of 20 minutes. Should we bring Charlie on, the man who's created this unicorn pizza brand?
But we do know people like our pre-chats. The people say that often in the comments. They go, the bit where you and JB talk, not to disservice our guests, by the way. I just
feel sorry for people sitting there waiting 20 minutes.
They do like it.
Being talked about like they're not here. Anyway, let's get him on the show. He's a bright young thing, we believe.
Charlie, in your own words, can you just give our listeners 30 seconds? What is your business?
So my business is basically a wood-fired pizza van, and we have also a burger van. And we deliver basically very high-quality service to weddings, parties, and corporate events. And we arrive up at the wedding or the party in a very aesthetic van that's been converted into a wood-fired oven and the whole kitchen setup. And we basically take away all the stress from any catering for clients, and we do it all in the van. So we turn up and then we're out when everyone's happy and well-fed. That is the entire business.
And what's the average order value for you to rock up to a wedding?
So our minimum hire fee is about $850, including VAT. $850, and then but on average it's probably, I think on averagely it's like 1,200
Do you produce monthly profit and loss, like management accounts?
Yeah. So I have we do that every single month. And then, I review it. Like I've just 2 days ago, I was reviewing January's one.
Cool. And what sort of bottom line profits are you making? So if in January you turned 100 grand or 150 grand, what do you aim to make on the bottom line out of that?
So that's one of the things the things I wanted to also talk about. I think we aim for 15 to 20, but we currently hit around, currently it's about 10. There was a period that we were doing like 20, and then we expanded a lot and it went down, the actual percentage of profit. And so I think currently it's operating around like 10, but we want to kind of increase that.
But it's gone up because it's gone down, sorry, because you've loaded the business with overhead in terms of them 10 people and that are doing marketing and sales and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah, correct.
And the other thing you're doing is you're spending, because we had that pre-chat, you're spending about £8,000 a month on Google Ads. Is that right?
Yeah, that was for February.
Yeah.
And in, and January, but in August, we'll probably end up doing 10,000.
Do you do any other ad spend on any of the other platforms like Meta and stuff like that?
Yeah, we do about £2,000 on Meta per month. And then we do like another 1,000 or so on SEO.
Yeah.
We do pretty heavy marketing.
I mean, in effect, you're spending 10% of your turnover on marketing then, yeah?
Yeah, we aim for that actually, around 8 to 10.
And then your cost of sale. So if each pizza's costing you what, £2.50 to make, is it?
It's a lot less than that. Do you mean like including the labor or just cost of goods?
Yeah, cost of goods, yeah.
Cost of goods. Cost of goods is we average about 15%. So if we sell it for £10, it's £150.
Okay.
What do you charge per head? Obviously, you've got like a minimum that you need to sort of make it worth going out on site. But then after a certain point, is it a per head thing? So if you've got a corporate and you needed to take like 2 vans down, is it, and you've got to feed 200 people, is it, like a tenner a head, or how do you work out the pricing?
So we basically have like a minimum hire fee, which can be quite a lot per head when it's only someone asking for like 20 pizzas, which is obviously the 850. It's about 750 to 850 is the minimum hire fee. And that obviously when you work it out on like 20, 30 people, it is very expensive cost per head. But it's more, the way that we obviously promote our services, it's not just, obviously anyone can just order a Domino's pizza, but if they order us, they get the entire service, going out, making the seeing the pizza being made, wood fired up, and they get that full service. So it's a lot more of a specialty. And but when it goes up to, let's say 100 or 150 people, then it can work out something like, I think it could work out like £12 a head. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, we generally do it where we have like a minimum, we have like a van hire fee, and then we then just have a sliding scale depending on how many guests there are.
So for 850, you say, right, that includes 40 pizzas or something like that. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
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 So if I then want 50 pizzas, it goes up further.
And yeah, let's say if you ordered 40, let's say it's 850, but if you ordered 100, it would probably be like 1,200. So it gets a lot better in the quantity.
I'm interested with your ad spend, Charlie, because you mentioned that you're spending £8,000 a month at the moment in your sort of quieter months. I would imagine that August, you're absolutely jam-packed with bookings anyway. So the August ad spend, is that for sort of instantaneous last-minute bookings, or is that for sort of booking up for the Christmas period or for the following year? Because obviously people with their weddings are looking 2-3 years ahead of time. So that August spend going up, is that for sort of immediate revenue, or is that sort of, securing bookings for the next 12 and 24 months?
Yeah, it's more for longer term and last minute. So the last minute stuff, Like there's particular days like right now in August and June where we're actually fully booked, because on a Saturday we have like 20 events already booked for Saturday. But then you have, because everyone wants it for that day for that wedding, but then obviously during the week it's not that busy. So then we have to continuously keep the ads going and stuff like that to fill up during the week. But in terms of the it kind of around now in August, it kind of is similar between 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 on marketing. It drops in around September, then it starts to drop down towards December, which hits kind of like at the lowest point on ad spend, which is maybe like 4,000. And then it's January, there's like a massive spike in wedding inquiries and people getting that sorted for the new year.
So just trying to work out this, sorry, these questions, I think both of us are just trying to get to the nub of it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So an avatar, just so I can help you. So do you try and get a van to do more than one gig in a day? So a day wedding and then a night party. Is that the plan? Or do you just want them doing one thing a day?
Yeah, so we tried. So basically, like when I said, let's say like we will have like an evening wedding at like 8 p.m. and then we'll fit in we tend to go for 2, and on a good day, let's say we can get 3 in. But it's mainly, the problem is like we can definitely fit it in and we have enough vans to do a lot more events than we're currently doing. But obviously people, there's way more demand for evenings, weddings on Friday, Saturday than there is for anything else. So our job now is to try and get creative in creating demand for during the week and also during the day, stuff to do during that time to then really take it to kind of like the next level. Because we could book out like 20 vans on a Saturday over across like 3 months, Friday and Saturday during the year. We could do 20 vans, but then you end up with staffing problems and a bunch of other problems because you can't fill up during the week. So we have to find the balance, basically.
Yeah, I imagine. So you're getting people, are they all self-employed that you need them on a weekend to go out and do a wedding?
Yeah, we have a few people who are like full-time, who are like our main guys on the actual events. But because we have a huge peak as well during the summer, we tend to get lots of like university students or college students, self-employed people to come and do that during their holiday, so they make extra money. Then they go back to school.
But finding those reliable people that are only working for you every now and then is difficult. That's what you mean, yeah?
Yeah, and also I don't like, sometimes we do have to get rid of some people because it's decreased a lot in the amount of events we're delivering, and I don't like that because I find really good people and I want to keep them, so I try everything I can to keep them and make sure we have a lot of events during the week. But then there's a certain point where it's out proportion and I can't financially just hold on to somebody.
How do you? I can't see how you are going to make it really busy during the week. I mean, that is the nub of the problem. If you're spending, 10% of your turnover on marketing, so I mean, some months you must be going to 15 grand a month when you add it all up. How can you get people to have what you want Monday to Thursday? I struggle to work that out.
So our idea was, this is the biggest thing. Our idea was to start getting more into corporate, because corporate stuff only happens during the week. And we're starting to get more and more corporate.
Yeah, and I think there will be some of that.
It's not as...
No. But I speak from personal experience here. We used to have a big corporate entertainment company, like weekends, bank holidays, Christmas Eve, they were the big days, and you get the occasional corporate gig, but it is very, very difficult. What I would be doing is looking at Monday to Thursday and looking at the 10 staff that you have in the office and bringing in another revenue stream that easily works on Monday to Thursday. And I think what we have a danger of in entrepreneurship is trying to make a round peg fit in a square hole. So you look at my businesses, big chain of indoor play centres, 2 outdoor visitor attractions, 2 zoos in effect. And we'll look at the Rossi ice cream parlour, and I'll give you multiple examples. I cannot get people to come into our family entertainment centres Monday to Thursday, so I built day nurseries in them. Done. The Rossi ice cream parlour sells loads of ice cream, and it sells loads of treats in weekends and school holidays, but Monday to Friday it is a place for all the clientele to go and have hot food, and that is how we keep the staff. And I think it's very difficult to find enough pizza corporate gigs Monday to Thursday for the whole of the year. And your other point that you had with me on the pre-chat about trying to make yourself more busier in January and February and December. Well, if you've got this team, why don't we find other products and services that are more busier in December, January and February? Should you have a thing to be doing Christmas markets up and down the country and having regular spots, for example, so that you do some direct to consumer stuff rather than pre-booked events just to keep people employed over those lull 3 months?
Yeah. I think that was something in the videos on YouTube that I was watching that I really liked, when you're talking about taking your existing enterprise and adding in other, from within, so that then you can add other products that can then level that out.
Is this my experience from this? Next to me in this building, we make ice cream. I cannot sell loads of ice cream in December and January. In August, I can't make enough of the bleeding stuff. People just don't want ice cream in December and January. Right. There are a few people that want it, for having it at home for Christmas and stuff like that, but nowhere near June, July, August, September. So that's why we bought the bakery, so that the team can do that stuff, because that's more popular in the winter, and that's why we set up a food services business, so we can deliver those things. And yes, the margins on food services are nowhere near the same as ice cream and making your own product, but it does mean that we have a continuity of team and we don't lose people in the shoulder periods. That is my way that I have solved the seasonal business problem, is adding in other business lines that complement what you've got. And that's very important, that complement what you got, so that you can use that team. Because there is a skill that you should be most proud of. And I mean, this is my opinion on you now, Charlie. I don't think you'll do this forever. I think this is not big enough for you, because you have got the ultimate skill, which is marketing. Right. You know how to get customers. And you've put your customers into a business that I think you're going to find very difficult to scale past your personal ambitions. You're 22 and you've got a £2 million business. That ain't going to be enough for you, mate. And I think you'll struggle to get this to 5 million of revenue. So I think you'll keep this, but you'll probably do something else that's much more scalable, probably in a similar industry, where it's easy to get it to 10 to 20 million of revenue with the natural skill sets that you obviously have. You should be very proud of yourself for turning 2 million quid and building a profitable business, even understanding what management accounts are, working out what your costs of sale are, how to do Google ads, building a team and employing 30 people. I absolutely take my hat off to you. You've already done this. You will do something bigger than this, but don't discard this. Keep this going until you've worked out what that next bigger thing is. What do you think, JB?
Yeah, I think absolutely. If I knew what you knew, Charlie, at 22, my God. The thing you like to say, to counteract the seasonality, I think you're going to have to be a little bit creative. It might be nice and the profit margins might be massive on these like lovely the big summer weddings and the big summer parties and stuff. There's a definite risk, when you say, I'm going to go into corporate. I think corporate is often used as this broad brushstroke thing where all the cash sits. And I used to have a couple of, in a previous business. Difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. I had a couple of business partners, and they went, we need to, we sort of got to the place where we'd leveled off as a company. And I said, well, what do we think we're going to do from here? And they went, oh, we're just going to sell to corporate. I went, what does that look like? And they said, well, get creative. We're just going to sell the service to corporate. I went, but who are you selling it to? Like, who is buying that in corporate? Yeah. What part of, because realistically, in terms of like corporate events, actually your target market isn't the corporate companies at all, it's the events organising companies, and they will probably have food services already as part of their offering. I think for you, like Jim said, I think not just the Christmas markets, I think those artisan food markets could be really big. I think the little niche farmers markets, I drive through South London. I've got one of our podcasts that we run, we have to go and produce it in central London, so I drive from South East London into central London, and I must drive past 15 farmers market signs, all of those like areas that are being gentrified, Lewisham, Catford, Greenwich, Deptford, all of those areas will have like a random day of the week, they have like a little bespoke farmers market. I'd be looking at hitting those sorts of things and placing a van in those locations.
Yeah, I don't think, because I've got some experience in doing that, we're selling hot food at those places that treat food Monday to Friday. Will they walk around with a pizza? What I meant by it was, do you need to create other products and services where they would buy those things there? So people are not buying pizzas in January, but are they? But I wouldn't be doing pizzas in December. I would be doing the stuff that people want to buy around Christmas food in December, but using your markets, people, using your vans, using your infrastructure, because people want to buy hot chocolates with one of them bloody marshmallows covered in chocolate, whatever it is, the Christmas stuff. But I want to now just come back to my original point: is this business big enough for your ambitions? I don't think it is. You are someone that is going to create something of serious size, and you've obviously been trained by mum and dad. I think you told us that they had a restaurant and you didn't want to work as hard as them and work weekend. Well, tell us that a little bit about that.
Yes. So my parents did amazing growing up in terms of getting what their restaurant, their business going. My dad came from Macedonia, and he worked his way up and he got his own restaurant. But they were very, very hands-on, and it was very hands-on to the point that I almost believe that maybe if they could have had a better of a step back, it would have allowed them to plan with the future and to get more customers, etc. Because it's so hands-on, sometimes you can get so worked up with the day-to-day stuff that me and my brother decided, good, when we have our business, we're going to take all the amazing things that they were able to do to get their business going, but then implement some other attributes from other people that we've studied or
absolutely
that we look up to and research.
And I think that's
research.
Yeah, because what defines to me a good business is a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. And most people that have successful restaurants are not that. They're commercially profitable enterprises where the owners live and bloody breathe the thing and do that little monologue that you just said.
Yeah.
And, they stand the test of time because...
Could I say one other thing as well?
Yeah, go
on. Which is just on that, me and my brother were the ones who built it, but we during the time we built it, we're very we also volunteer for our church during the week. So during the week we don't actually work in the business. So that was a big priority for us, and that was probably one of the main things, because we really enjoy helping people, and so during the week we actually volunteer for our church, and in the evenings and weekends we built the business. And we I know that might sound very strange how we did that, but there were obviously some days where we had to be there. But we're at a point now where where we have the management team in, and we are operating remotely. Essentially, we're still very hands-on, but we do it in the evenings and weekends. And although our parents worked very hard, and we had kind of like didn't want to work as hard, it's not that we didn't want to put in the same amount of hours. Could we put in 80-hour weeks between the volunteering we do for the church and our own business? It was just more having a bit of that freedom as well to actually be in a position that we can actually volunteer our time or help people with whatever.
But I think I need to ask that. So what are you doing volunteering? Like Monday to Thursday, you're volunteering?
Monday to Friday from 9 to 6, we volunteer. We don't really get paid anything.
What do you do for what do you do Monday to Friday between 9 and 6?
My brother is like a life coach, and I'm also similar to that. I just work in a different area. But
Wow.
yeah, we basically, we get a lot of fulfillment from that.
So you've built a £2 million company out of COVID when you've already got a full-time job that you don't get paid for?
Yes.
This just gets better and better and crazier. Wow.
We would wake up at like 6 a.m. and go and work until like 8:30, and then go to our church and volunteer, and then we'll work until like 12 or 1 a.m. Once we got back, and we just hustled and did everything we could, and then got the management team in so that then we could make sure that everything was running smoothly and stuff like that.
And I mean, Charlie, I think it's really important for you to, reflecting on this conversation is, what do you actually want? I mean, I asked you, what does the business look like when it's finished? And you said, I can't ever see it being finished. I like the idea of creating a self-supporting business empire that can continue with itself and grow. But my school of thought is, obviously we're never finished and there's always the next thing we want to do, but we should work to business plans and say, in 5 years' time, the business will have this and this as a set of attributes, because that allows us to build towards something. The best analogy I give is, lots of people are building businesses. Imagine you build a house without a set of architectural plans. It would be very difficult to build that house effectively and efficiently.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably something we don't do as much of.
So
me and my brother very much and just enjoy the process.
Well, that was going to be my other thing. But if you turn around and say, do you know what, James? I'm happy with where we're at. Let's build this to a £3 million business. We're making decent profits. We're all having a nice life. I always say to people, well, that's fine. But if you have ambitions past that, then we need to have a different conversation. And another conversation is, are you going to carry on volunteering for the church Monday to Friday forever? If that's your plan, that's also fine. But what about if you want to have a family one day and you want to be a parent? What happens at that juncture?
I think for us, so as much as we enjoy growing our business and making as much money as we can with that, we are we will continue to do that because we just enjoy it a lot, and we will definitely, you're probably right, we will definitely start another business or two, and then when it comes to having a family and stuff like that, I'm not really sure. I haven't really thought about that, but
he's 22 years old, Jim. Stop scaring the
guy.
At
that point, I will level that out a bit in terms of how much I'm working.
The thing here is to make sure you're building something that you actually want to build.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say that conversation went in so many twists and turns. It was like watching Game of Thrones. And then he just went, and I don't work in it Monday to Friday.
9 till 6. That's more than a full-time job. Volunteering.
Jeez. I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, some of the questions he was going to ask me, how do I increase in the winter periods? I think we asked that, how to creatively create more awareness for the product. We always get told when we go to events and weddings, well, that's great. I never knew I did. I think getting the leads and the custom is not really their problem, and over time it will just get bigger and bigger. Finding new talent, hiring people who are looking at staying with the business for the long term and not the short term. The problem with this type of business, it's very difficult because there's not massive continuity, is there? He really only needs people Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Which I get why he wants to build a Monday to Thursday thing, but seriously, how many corporate gigs for pizzas in London are going to be there?
Yeah, not very many, I wouldn't have thought.
Unless people are there will be some, but not enough. had to increase the corporate clients. We spoke about that. And he said, I'm 22 years old, started this business when I was 19 with my brother with no money. I've learned a lot from my experience and studying successful people. But the UK is different to the American market. So there are only a few to learn from in the UK. You've had lots of experience in the UK. So I'd like to get some of your tips of having run many successful businesses in the UK specifically. Well, I think we've done that.
100%. I think Charlie could, like you say, he could get us to a real nice 3-4 million quid. Go and advertise your wares at those wedding fairs.
Yeah.
Because you stick the word wedding in front of anything. Pizza, cake, photographer, dress, and you can add another zero onto what you normally charge. Those wedding fairs. Did you do the wedding fair circuit?
Back in the day, yeah.
Jesus. No, but for your own wedding.
Yeah.
Did you go and...
No.
Oh, my God, I got
But I used to actually go and exhibit at those when I was a DJ and a magician and entertainer, yeah.
And did you convert a lot of leads from them?
Yeah, to an extent. I actually don't think they're a good use of the time because you lose trade because you're going to those at weekends when you could be out gigging. And so I actually think he's better carrying on pumping the money to Larry Serge and Zuckerberg. Yeah, because he's got to put a pizza van at a wedding venue over a weekend.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, for you to stuff your face, but that's when he's making his money. Now, if they were Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, very different, but I don't think they are. I think they're when he needs to go out and earn money.
Surely in the James Sinclair school of like never let a hurdle get in the way of a good idea. You just maybe starts his own wedding fair circuit, the Tuesday wedding fairs. That'd take off, wouldn't it?
But I think that comes back to my fitting a square
peg in a round hole.
That one, yeah.
That's the one.
I was just going to...
I feel really hungry after that conversation.
If you look at the 8 traits of great entrepreneurs, and I was thinking, this is the thing I always say, does he start with the end in mind? I don't think he does. But I think he should spend a bit more time on that. That's one of his weaknesses. Passionate about their cause. Is he passionate about pizzas?
He's passionate about a cause. And if
I think he's passionate about making money, isn't he?
Yes.
This guy's more businessman, I think, than entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Has he got untold amounts of resilience? I'm not sure he needs it. But obviously, bloody has actually got resilience because he's working harder than Rishi Sunak and any president of any country, isn't he? I mean, he's they master relationships with people. He obviously has done that.
Yeah.
Commercial awareness, yes, he's got. He's innovating, right, so he doesn't evaporate, yes. He's a master marketeer, and he's staying teachable and curious. He's got at least 5, I would say, of the 8 traits of the greats.
He's going to do all right, isn't he, that guy? I feel more confused than enlightened after that conversation.
Yeah,
I'm questioning my own life choices when somebody can volunteer 12 hours a day and then still go make 2 million quid pumping out pizzas.
Well, the good lesson, I think, for entrepreneurs and business owners to listen to here, and this is probably the biggest lesson for listeners. You're 18, 19, you have no inhibition, you start with no money, and then in 3-4 years you've built the best part of a £2 million business that's profitable from scratch. Very impressive, right? Let's just get that out there. He is not scared to spend 10% of his turnover on marketing.
No. He said he's actually got a target to do that, didn't he?
Yeah. And I don't think there's many business owners in the SME sector that would consider that. And I think that's a good listen for listeners.
Do you know the other thing? If you look at their content, the big marketing win for them is content marketing. I would be pulling back on some of that ad spend, and I'd be bringing like their version, like a pizza-based chuds in-house, to film everything, to document everything, to take beautiful photos of everything. And I'd also then, all those events, because everyone's got their photos out and they all got their glad raggers on, and they all want to look their best. Like you guys do at Marsh Farm, you do those brilliant sort of like flower arrangements and stuff for Halloween or pumpkin picking and stuff.
They should definitely be doing both, yeah.
Yeah. So content marketing, keep pumping out them pizzas, Charlie.
It's interesting though, because what's really interesting is actually, and this is the thing, when you get Google Ads right, and we're redoing Google Ads for Party Pieces, we've actually gone to an agency. So we do it in-house a bit, but we've got an agency just to keep us up to date with all the new trends, like when they have a zebra update or a camel update or a penguin update, whatever they call it. So we're getting an outsourced person. I will tell you on the pod if it's worked, by the way, but I want to give them 3 months because I think it's what the lovely people with these Google Ads agencies said. it takes a good 6 months to see the good results. Oh, I'll carry on paying you, do I? And I'll wait 6 months to see if my
£5 grand
cash
retainer,
returns.
sure.
Yeah.
30K on a
it's not a
punt.
retainer. It's they get a percentage of your spend. That's how it works.
Oh, they're doing that one, are they?
Yeah.
How much are you putting into it each month? 10K plus?
At the moment, we're spending about £16,000 a month, but I'm happy to spend £50,000 a month, £100,000 a month. But I want to get this thing, the ROAS, the return on ad spend. That's what they call it in this PPC world. ROAS, they love it. They make them sound smart. I think I'm a complete and utter dickhead. They go, well, just check on your ROAS. Like that. That justifies their
Have you done a
fee.
Zoom call with them with your glasses on though? Because then they'll be like, hang on a second, this guy's clearly got some smarts about him.
Yeah, well, they know who I am, and they know about this podcast, and they know about my content, and I'm hoping that, because I said to them, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. If it's successful, it'll be very successful for you. If it's not, I shall talk about it. So I am going to that's not a threat. It's not blackmail. It's just the way it is. I want to talk about it positively, but I've got to tell the audience if I think it absolutely works. Now, we are doing it. We're turning 16,000 into 2.5 times ROAS, but the aim is to get 4 times return on the spend on e-com, and that's what we're going with. But he's spending £8,000 a month, him and his bro, and it's working, isn't it? It's bringing in, because this is 4 years in, and do you know, word of mouth takes 10 years. I really believe that.
Yeah.
So you've got to carry on spending it. Yeah, we can do all the content marketing stuff. I absolutely believe that. But it's 10 years to start seeing the fun happen. Starts happening at 7 years, but 10 years really good.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd do is I'd have a chuds who can actually go and take photos at the pizza place when the parties are happening. People would love that, wouldn't they? Take them into a photo the day after.
Yeah.
I think that would work really well.
You could just ask the photographer to do that though and say...
Yeah, but they're not going to, are they? As well as you want it doing. And then because they do it all in the home counties, don't they? So you could go from event to event.
That's a very good idea. Well, it's an interesting
I had to chuck enough my winter festival idea that went down like a heap of steaming stuff. So I had to keep going until.
But the difference between you and me, though, is yours is
you're very
theory.
successful, and I'm not. E plus M equals S for those of you.
No, but you have these theories and ideas, but I've tried lots of these things, and I don't want to waste
people's time.
Yeah, and I get these theories and ideas about lots of things as well, and I'm the idiot that actually usually gives them a try, and lots of them don't work.
What do you think about these guys? Sorry, just before we wrap up, the burger vans and then the coffee vans. Are you a fan of that sort of change of
I
the
think
offering?
for him, obviously, it's not a problem because he absolutely knows how to get the customers. He's prepared to put the ad spend in. My view on this, though, is would someone go and buy this off of you? I think it's very difficult because he's key man driven. I still believe that they are the people making it happen. And really what you want to do is be in a position where you say, no, I have nothing to do with this. It looks like an investment.
Yeah. But if he's already got it to a point where he's got a full-time gig that he's not getting paid for and it ticks over 2 million quid.
Yeah, but
based on
would
what he
you buy
wants,
this?
I wouldn't buy it, no.
Why?
Because it's too reliant on the two people that own it. But for him and his brother, why can't he just tick it over 3-4 million quid a year, go to work for free for the church? No, I'm never buying it.
Why are you never buying it?
Because it's still too key man related. But if
that's what I'm trying to say, JB.
If they could do like 2 million quid, let's say it stays where it is, £1 million a year.
Yeah.
For the next, he's only 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got 20 years to catch up with us two. He's made 20 million quid.
Yeah.
Why does he need to sell it? He could just keep. You're obsessed with trying to sell stuff all the time.
Well, I'm not obsessed because I haven't actually sold anything. But there is massive advantages on selling stuff.
Yeah, but
for tax efficiency in the UK. Get asset business disposal relief, which we talk about here, or you could use an employee's ownership trust.
So he could do that, couldn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He could do an EOT.
He could do an EO2, yeah.
EOT on the PIZZAs.
And what else have we got to talk about before we dash off?
Well, finally, come on. What's the big news?
The 10th of June at 7 p.m.
Hang on.
We've got a jingle for this.
Hang on. Like, I really want you to give this the big sell if you can, because this is big news.
The 10th of June at 7 p.m. James Burt, that's him, and James Sinclair, that's me. We're coming live to London, Leicester Square Theatre.
Live from London.
Yeah.
I just do that all the time. That's guarantee you hear that at least 6 times on the night.
You're going to have me and him just desperately trying to get some media attention. 7 p.m. Tickets are going to be around £30, £35. What are they? Nigel, what are the ticket price?
£30, you said.
£30.
£30. It's like an auctioneer then. Nigel's like an auctioneer.
£30.
Sold.
So £30, 7 p.m, 10th of June, Leicester Square Theatre. We're bringing this podcast live. We'd love to see you there.
Do you know what we should do outside the theatre?
What should we do?
We should have all of the people, all the SMEs that you've supported over the years, should turn up and flog their stuff. Pizza post should just pull up illegally on Leicester Square Theatre and just do pizzas.
Last time I checked in with Westminster Council.
They love this sort of stuff.
Do they?
Great for press.
They wouldn't even let Greg stay open and sell sausage rolls. That was in the press last year past 11 o'clock. So, yeah, we'll have a little look at that. 7 p.m, £30 a ticket, which is an absolute bargain basement. 10th of June, have an evening with me and JB and guests, and we're going to try and do this podcast live, plus do Q&A with the audience. If you'd like to find out how to buy your tickets, there's a link in the show notes. If you don't know what show notes are because you're of the elder listener, go to my website, jamessinclair.net, click on the events button or somewhere on the homepage there, and just you'll find the tickets. Yeah.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever played to? But you've done some big gigs, haven't you?
Over 1,000, yeah.
What? Doing magic and stuff?
Doing speaking, gigging.
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course, yeah. Fair enough. Sorry,
I've been to some corporate events, JP.
Yeah.
This won't be my first rodeo.
What did disregard your
I've done
skills
theatre
there?
shows before as well on my own as Jimbo when I was a kids entertainer.
What, and you just hire the theatre out?
Yeah, sell it out. I used to do 3 or 4 shows a day. Thank you very much.
No, you didn't.
I bloody well did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And how many people would turn up?
I'll sell it out.
Yeah, but how big's the theatre?
500 seats.
No.
Yeah.
Were you that famous around Essex? You were like a
It's
little
amazing.
celebrity.
No ads.
Really? So how did you fill it then?
Just told people I was doing it. It took me, I'd do it over a year, book it over a year. But some big fans, yeah.
Well.
So, yeah. But this will be bloody easy. This just talking to you, taking the mick out of you for an hour.
Yeah, lovely.
Can't
wait. Neither can I. Fantastic. If you have enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please feel free to give this a subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or go down to the link in your podcast app of choice and give this a 5-star rating and review. Anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Sinclair, before we leave?
If Charlie's on Instagram, which I think you're saying he is, are you?
He is, yeah. He's knocking about on Insta.
Yeah, the pizza post, go and check them out. It'd be nice to see how they are.
Yeah, and if you're having a wedding, if you'd like something delicious, as long as you don't want to order between 9 and 6 because he's doing his good deeds.
Yeah, amazing.
Imagine all he does. Think about the joy. Think about if heaven and all that stuff is real. Yeah. Let's not get religious here, but if it is, he's definitely earning the brownie points, isn't he? He's volunteering all day, and then all he's doing is serving up lovely pizzas at weddings on a weekend.
Yeah,
he's having a good time.
We don't do religion or politics on this podcast, so we're going to finish it here, gang.
Okay. Should we go then?
Yeah, well, thank you for listening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.